Hey guys. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I'm a little bit behind, but I'm going to wait for just a few people to get on, and then we're going to go ahead and get started so that I can get on out of the way because I'm already behind, and then I still got so much stuff to do. And I was trying to be great with all these social media sites, and it was just starting to frustrate me a little bit. So I just gave up. I got to work on it another day that I am not going live. I will try to work on linking these three together at the same time so that I'll be able to go live on all three at the same time. So, yeah. Hey, Daveda, thanks for joining. I won't be long tonight. But it's good to be on. It's so good to be on. It's been a while since I've been on. I have not been on in a good little while. Actually, I've been like super busy. I started this new job, and when I started this new job, it definitely took over my priority a little bit. It was just different all the way around, a little different to what I was accustomed to. So I definitely had to adjust. And so getting that equipped. And then of course, I know you guys have been like watching and you see like the other businesses that we're venturing out on. Hey guys, I can't really see you who's joining, but thanks for joining. But the other ventures and things that we're like pursuing and that we're working on. And so I got a few different things under my belt right now. I'm got a few different businesses and stuff that I'm working on. And so therefore I am trying to make sure that I balance out all of my time all the way around so that I can be sure that everything is getting the right amount of time and attention and things that it needs. So I definitely had not had an opportunity to go live. I was still posting, but not as much as I would like to be posting. So I definitely had to kick back in full swing, get back in gear. And so I'm definitely doing that now. I'm definitely getting back in now. So thank you for all of those who like follow Sharon Tillman. I used to get so many alerts of people like looking on my page. I was getting text messages like, hey girl, what's going on? Like, I've been looking for your post. I've been really like just wanting to hear what you got to say. Like, I needed it at this particular time in my life or whatever the case may be. And y'all, that made me feel really good. And it made me really, really, really even the more want to get back out here and be like, you know what? Sharon, you got a purpose to fulfill and you've got to get out here and do it. So thank you for all of those who checked on me. Thank you for everybody who was like, hey girl, what's going on? Like, I needed that. And for all of you who watched my impactful video today, that definitely played a part in it as well. Like, you are being so impactful even when you don't feel like it, even when you don't realize how much impact you have on people, how much, people are really wanting and needing what you have to say. And as I said before, people are waiting on your next. And your next could be anything for any given person. Like, there are some people who are like, I'm waiting for her to fail because I knew she wasn't going to do it anyway. And then you've got some people who's like, I'm just waiting for her to blossom. I'm just waiting for her to prosper because there is so much inside. So your next can go anyway. It just really depends on the person that's waiting on it. But whether they're thinking good or whether they're thinking bad, someone is waiting on your next. So it's so, so, so important that whatever it is that you do, that you keep doing it. But that's not what I'm here to talk about tonight. I am here to talk about knowing who you are. So I have a young lady who I was speaking with, and she definitely wanted me to just put this video up. She wanted me to kind of just elaborate a little bit on knowing who you are and, even from a younger perspective and how you get out there and how you just be great and how you just really, how you just accept who you are for who you are And don't allow anyone else to, deter you from how you feel about yourself, or anybody else to be able to affect how you feel about yourself. Like, nobody should have control over your thoughts and emotions, and nobody should be able to change your perspective of you. So it's so important for us to always make sure that we're not allowing anyone to change how we feel about us. We're not allowing anyone to change, what we're thinking, what we're doing, pursuing, or whatever the case may be. Don't allow anyone to change how you feel about you. How you feel about you really determines how other people feel about you. Like, if you don't feel good about you, or if you're not confident in who you are and things of that nature, people will see that. People can see if you're confident. People can see if you're arrogant. Like, people can see all of that stuff. And if you're not comfortable in being who you are, then people are going to be able to see that. So I really just want to just dive right in, because like I said, I've got some other things to do, so I won't be able to be on here as long as I would have liked. And then, of course, me trying to link all these sites, it took a good little bit of the time. And so I was like, I'm already late getting on here, just trying to link them all together. So it's totally fine. I will just take this same video and post it to YouTube. I don't know if I'll be able to post it to Instagram, because I think Instagram only allows you to go live. So I'll have to work on the Instagram, but I will post this video to YouTube, most definitely. And so you'll be able to go and look at it on YouTube. And hey guys, listen, I need you to go and like and subscribe to my YouTube page, to my YouTube channel. I definitely need you guys to go like and subscribe, okay? So I want to dive right in tonight. I got a few little notes here because I definitely don't want to lose my train of thought, and I don't want to deter from what it is that I'm here to say. But I really just want to talk about the importance of knowing who you are. Like, it's so important for you to know who you are. It's so important for you to not get lost in the midst of an identity crisis. It's so important for you to not get lost in it, or not be affected, or not be impacted by what we call, or what society may call, as an identity crisis. I can remember speaking with a young lady, and one of the things that I told her was that society has painted this picture, and if you don't fall in these particular categories, then you not knowing who you are will put you out here lost. You will be lost, and you will be trying to fit in wherever you can fit in order for you to feel like you belong. And in order for you to feel in order for you to fit in, or in order for you to feel like you belong, if you don't know who you are, you're going to go whatever way that you feel like you need to go at that particular time. So anybody that's around you, anybody that's near you will be able to impact your feelings in that moment. So if I'm around this person, then however they view life and however they see things, then I'm going to just be swayed that way, because I don't know who I am within myself. I don't know who I am, whom I belong to, or what it is that I'm supposed to be doing with my life. So it's so important that even in the midst of society, where they feel like, and society will mess you up. It will make you feel like you can't be too big, or you can't be too small. You can't be too short, or you can't be too tall, or if you're too dark skinned, or if your hair is not long enough, or if your hair doesn't do this. And don't get me wrong, we got weaves, and we've got lashes, and we've got makeup, and we've got all of these things that help us to feel better about ourselves, or to give us something that's missing, or enhance beauty, or however you use it. But those are things that society still has set up to make us feel like that we need in order to feel good about ourselves, in order to love ourselves, and in order to be beautiful. So it's just so important that even in the midst of this society, that you know exactly who you are, that you know exactly who you belong to, that you know exactly where you're going, what you're doing with your life, what you're supposed to be doing, and that you're going forth, and that you're pursuing, and that you're just, you know what? I love me in spite of what anybody else says, in spite of what anybody else thinks. I love me. And it's so important that we first learn how to love ourselves, because until we truly, until we in-depthly learn how to love ourselves, then we will find ourselves out here seeking love, seeking validation. We'll find ourselves being needy. We'll find ourselves being like attention seekers. Like, it's so many different things that go into play when it comes to the things that you would need if you don't know how to love yourself. And if you didn't get it growing up, like I always tell even parents that I come in contact with, that it's so important that you validate your children at a young age. It's so important that you tell them that they're beautiful, and that you tell them that they're smart, and that they're successful, and that they can be all that, they're desiring to be, whatever it is that they're good at, whatever their calling is. Like, you're pushing them and you're motivating them and you're teaching them how to love themselves at a young age, so that when they do get older, they know exactly how to love themselves. And people won't be able to come in and just say any little thing, and then they feel like they have to be swayed one way or another because nobody told them that when they were growing up. This thing really makes them feel some type of way, and they have to really find themselves drawn to that. So it's so important for validation and just accepting yourself and being comfortable in your own skin and being comfortable with who you are. Like, it's so important. And I say it all the time. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what size you are. I don't care how long your hair is or how short your hair is. I don't care how straight it is or how nappy it is. You've got to be comfortable in the skin that you're in. If you're a big girl and you lose weight, even in losing weight, it may make you feel better about yourself. But if you don't love yourself when you're big, you're not going to love yourself when you're small. And there's a difference. Like, some people think, oh, because you love yourself at a certain weight, that means you're accepting that you're just that size. No, those are things that you have the ability to change. You can absolutely change your weight. You can change your size. You can change that. And I'm using weight because you can't change your skin tone unless you're going to bleach it. And, you can always change your hair by getting a relaxer and things of that nature. But weight was so much easier to use as an example. I just wanted to throw that in there because, weight. But if you don't love yourself when you're 300 or 400 pounds, you're not going to love yourself when you're 150 pounds or 200 pounds, because your weight doesn't determine how you feel about yourself and how you love yourself. You knowing how to love yourself is totally different than you carrying around excess weight that you have the ability to change. So it's so important, no matter what size you are, no matter what you look like, no matter if listen, and we all got flaws. And I think sometimes it's easy to forget that we're all flawed people. Like, we're totally flawed. We're totally flawed. Like, I've got things in me that are flawed. You've got flaws. Like, everybody has flaws. And I think sometimes whenever we're talking about flaws, it's so easy for us to be like, okay, I don't like this about me, or I don't like that about me, or whatever your flaw may be that seems to get you feeling however. But it's so important that even with our flaws, we love ourselves, and that we learn how to embrace our flaws. We learn how to embrace what we have and what we don't have, or whatever that case may be. And we learn how to love ourselves, and we learn how to go on. We learn how to go forward. Like, it's so imperative that you love who you are. I love me. And it's easy to say and it's not easy to do, but you've got to love you. You've got to love yourself for who you are, because you're so much more than the outer appearance. That's what people don't realize. Sometimes I think that people get so caught up in what they look like on the outside that they forgot that the inside is what really matters. The inside is what really counts. So it's like, don't be discouraged because, or don't just love the outside of what you look like. Love the inside, because the inside is what matters. The inside is what brings out the outward appearance. I don't care how you look on the outside. If your insides are ugly, your outside shows that. So it's so important that you love yourself, and that you learn how to love yourself for who you are. You learn how to love yourself from within, so that it can always come out on the outside, and so that you can always feel like you're so that you can always feel good about yourself, because it's so important that you love yourself enough to feel good about yourself. And then it won't matter what other people think of you. It's not going to matter if somebody else doesn't like what you do or what you say or how you go on or how you look. As long as you love it and as long as you like it, that's all that's going to matter. And that confidence is what's going to bring you to that place. That was my next thing, just being comfortable with who you are and possessing a sense of confidence. You've got to be confident in who you are. This can go either way. We don't have to just talk about weight in this sense. You've got to be comfortable in who you are regardless. So it's like even in who you are spiritually, who you are naturally, because we've got to have that balance in our life. It is so imperative that you know who you are regardless. So when you go to apply for that job or when you go on that job interview, you walk in there with your head held high because you know exactly who you are. Or when you go to minister, or when you go to preach, or when you go to sing, or when you go to do whatever your call is for you to do, you can walk in there with integrity, with your head held high, because you know exactly who you are. No one can belittle you. No one can make you feel small. No one can make you feel like you don't belong. No one can make you feel as though you're not supposed to be where you are, because you're going to know exactly who you are and you're going to be confident in that. And sometimes it's okay to be a misfit. I mean, like, sometimes it really is. Like, I know people don't like to stand out. People don't like to stand alone. It's always so much easier for a lot of people to just fit in a crowd. It's so much easier for people to kind of just blend in. And as long as you're blending in, and as long as you're doing what people want you to do, and as long as you're saying what people want you to say, then a lot of times it's okay. Nobody goes against the grain when you kind of just follow suit. But whenever you decide to stand alone, and whenever you decide to be confident in who you are, and you decide to stand up for who you are, then a lot of times people like to rebuttal against that. People like to rebuttal. People like to come back, and people have so much to say, and people will try to make you feel unworthy. They'll try to make you feel like you don't belong. They'll try to make you feel like you're not supposed to be there. People will try to make you feel like God didn't ordain or call or purpose you to do what you're doing. But even in the midst of that, you got to stand strong. You've got to stand confident in who you are and in who God has called you to be. And you got to go with that. Don't let anybody deter you from that. Don't let anybody make you feel like that's what you're not supposed to be doing. Be confident in who you are. You got to be confident in who you are. And not allow anyone to make you feel any different from that. And be that misfit. Be okay. Be okay to like not fit in with the crowd. Be okay to stand out by yourself. Be okay to just, I hear one guy talking about existing all the time. Be okay to do that. Be okay to exist in this world, standing for what you believe in, for what you want to do. Like, be okay with that. And don't let anybody make you feel like that you're not supposed to do that. Even when it comes to our children. And we talk about our children a lot because a lot of how we grow up and how we are when we become adults, a lot of that is dictated from how we are when we're children. A lot of times how your upbringings and how you're brought up and the things that you go through as a child, or that's what brings you to your place even in your adulthood. So it's like, if we're not talking to our children, and if we're not validating our children, and if we're not making our children feel like they belong, and that it doesn't matter if people don't like you. It doesn't matter if you don't be easily influenced. You know, all of the things that you'll talk to your children about, all of the things that you'll go and have, all of the conversations and things that you'll have with your children, it's totally okay. Like, it's okay to stand alone. It's okay to stand out. You know, when we're younger, we think that, oh my God, if you don't have a lot of friends, like something is wrong with you. I know when I was younger, I can't speak for nobody else, but when I was younger, I wanted a lot of friends. Like, I was always trying to be the girl who had a lot of friends. And if I didn't have a lot of friends, then I felt like something was wrong. Like, if you ain't got no friends, like something wrong with you. Like, you supposed to have friends at a young age. Like, Whether it be the kids from the neighborhood, they supposed to be your friends. Everybody that you ride the bus with supposed to be your friends. If we in the same classroom and we sit with each other every day, we go to lunch every day, like we're supposed to be friends. You're supposed to have a lot of friends when you're a child. And I used to grow up like that. Like I used to always just want to be around people. I just wanted to have friends. And I think a lot of times when we feel like that, as you know, when children are younger and they feel like, okay, in order for me to do that, then I've got to do what they do. In order for me, and I can remember when I was growing up, I love to be transparent because I feel like my transparency definitely helps people. But I can remember whenever I was growing up and I had some friends who used to do some stuff. And I knew I wasn't doing that stuff. But I used to be like, me too. Yep. Like just going on, just making it. It's funny now. It's really funny now. But it wasn't fun. Like it just making it up because you're like, no, I don't want to be that girl that's like, you're not doing this or you're not doing that. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, we this age, this supposed to be. You didn't want to be that person. So a lot of times you would do whatever you felt like you needed to do to kind of just fit in, to kind of just follow suit, to kind of just get in. Like, and you don't want to be like that. We don't want to teach our children that it's okay to be like that. And it's so imperative for us to make sure that we're having those conversations with our children, to make sure that we're letting them know, like, it's okay for you to stand alone. It's okay for you not to fit in with the crowd. It's okay for you not to do what they do if you know that it's wrong. You know, let's raise our kids with integrity. Let's raise our kids with the upbringing of knowing good morals and good standards and doing what they're supposed to do and knowing who they are, even as children, knowing who they are. So they learn how to own rooms even when they walk in them. And they don't let people intimidate them, and they don't let people belittle them and make them feel small for whatever reason. I had a conversation with my son and I told him that I would talk about it a little bit. So I had a conversation with my son because we had this particular incident that kind of had happened, and it definitely made me want to like run to my children and just talk to my children and, you know, like, how do you feel? Because sometimes kids go through things and they don't want to tell you. Like, they're too embarrassed to say what they're going through. They're too embarrassed to tell you, you know, what's going on, how they feel, this and that. And so I wanted to bring my son because my son is older. He's almost 14 years old. I know, right? He's like, make me feel like I'm old. And I'm not that old. Even though my birthday is next week, I am not that old. But anyway, I had a conversation with my son, and I can just remember, you know, he's at the middle school, and I always view middle school as like the hardest. This is like the hardest transition that you'll go through. Like, elementary school is all good because everybody's pretty much the same. High school, you've kind of established who you are, or in the sense of who you want to be, who you're going to follow, or whatever the case may be. But middle school is when you're trying to figure it out. You're trying to fit in. You're trying to see where you belong. You're trying to like see what the crowds look like. Like, middle school is that year where you're just like, this is like the determining factor year for me to see exactly where I belong, where I'm supposed to be, and things like that. And so I can remember having a conversation with my son, and my son lost a lot of weight. He lost a lot of weight. He used to be like this little cute little chubby kid with like these big jaws, you know, you could kind of squeeze. Big jaws kind of run in the family, you know, on my husband's side. And and he always had these jaws. So he was just like the little cute kid, you know. And that's not to pick on him, you know, because we had this conversation. So my son lost a lot of weight. And he did it kind of effortlessly, you know. It wasn't any type of force. It wasn't any pressure from myself or his father at all. You know, he was always pretty active. He was always, you know, in a healthy sense. Of course, we want him to always feel good about who he is. Of course, we want him to lose weight. I'm trying to lose weight myself. My husband is losing weight. Listen, we all dropping pounds over here, okay? We all are losing weight over here. But this was something that my son just wanted to do. And I can remember when it first started happening, and I was like, Jaden, you don't want to, and he was like, no, Mom, don't give me this much. I don't want to eat that much, or I don't want to do this, or like, Mom, I'm not going to eat any of that, or like, Mom, I just want water for dinner, or, just little things like that. And so it became to be very, I mean, it worked for him because he definitely dropped the weight that he wanted to lose. And so I can remember when I went to him about this particular conversation, not just from what happened, but when I was talking to one of the young ladies and she was talking to me about just some of the things that her daughter was going through and some of the things that she was doing and how she didn't want her here, but she didn't really know how to put her in a different place or put her in a different position. So we had this conversation, and because my son was older, I definitely felt like this was something that he and I, that we could talk about and that he could really express himself. And I can remember, just saying, how did you feel when you first went to the middle school? And how did, your feelings about yourself, like how were they impacted, because listen, anybody who knows my son know he is super team Jaden. Like he does everything well in his eyes. Like, and I love that. I love the fact that he's super confident in who he is and that he's always gonna when it comes to it, he's gonna get it done. But I remember him saying Mom, when I first got to the school, people picked on me, and he was like, people really, they talked about my weight a little bit and it would hurt my feelings. And I said, well, how did that make you feel? Because in my psychology world, that's always the next question. If you say something to me, my follow-up question is always going to be, well, how did that make you feel? And I can remember him saying, Ma, I remember at one point just wanting to cry. And he was like, I can remember I wanted to get in with other people and kind of just be like, okay, I'm just going to be cool with these people because these people don't say certain things or however, And then he was like, and then one day I was like, I can change my weight, I love being me. I don't have to be like everybody else. And that was something that he did on his own. As much as I, not drill, but as much as I talk about and give my children, the conversations of knowing who you are and being confident in who you are and all of these things like that. I don't drill it in them to force them. I want them to authentically be them. I want them to get it. I want them to go through it and I want them to understand it because I'm not going to be in life with them to the point where I can fight their battles. I got to give them the tools and essentials that they need in order to go through and to fight their own battles so that they know how to go through things. And I remember him saying, my people were really mean. And then I got to that place where I was like, I'm not going to be what you call me. I'm not going to accept that. And he was like, I didn't even want to hang out with those kids anymore because at that point I realized what kind of kids they really were. And my son is 13. He's almost 14 years old. So for him to get that and for him to understand that and for him to change his body, not just based on what people thought of him, but because he knew that was something that he wanted to do for him. And then after doing it, he realized these are not even the kind of people that you want to hang out with in life. These are not the kind of people that you want to get caught up with anyway. So I don't do anything for them. And for me, that was big, because it's so important that we talk to our children and we tell our children, you don't have to follow the crowd. You don't have to be what people call you. You don't have to go through certain things. There are certain things that don't get me wrong, they're gonna go through no matter what we tell them, no matter how much we prepare them. Life happens, real world happens. And we've got to equip them for the things that they're going to go through. And we've got to equip them for the things that they're going to deal with in life. And so I'm thankful and grateful that he's been equipped to know the kind of kids that he should hang out with and the kids that he shouldn't, and how he can go away and he can not hang out with certain kids, and he don't even want to be bothered with certain kids because he can see that inside spilling out on that outside. And your behavior towards people, that's what I say all the time, your behavior towards people, the things that you say about people, whether they're around or not. If you've always got something negative to say about people or something negative to say about everything that somebody does or say, you gotta self-evaluate. Like, you gotta look within you and be like, okay, what's really going on with me that makes me feel like that every time somebody says something that I have to have a comment, or every time somebody does something, is something wrong with it and I gotta comment on it, or I've got to say something about it. Like, it's so important that we self-evaluate and that we make sure that our insides are pure and that our insides are clean, so that it can spew on the outside, and so that we can be confident in who we are, and so that we can be great. Listen, guys, that's what it's all about. It's all about being confident in who you are. It's all about knowing who you are, no matter what the circumstance is, no matter who you're around. Like, never be in the presence of anybody. I don't care who it is. Like, I was telling an individual maybe yesterday, I'll never find myself in the presence of anybody who makes me feel unworthy. I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your title is. I don't care what you possess. Like, you're never going to deem me to a place of feeling unworthy, or deem me to a place of feeling like I don't belong. Like, you're not good. I don't give anyone that kind of power, that kind of ability over me. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you possess. I don't care what you have. I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your title is. I don't care what kind of money you got, what kind of house you live in. I don't care about any of that stuff. You will never be able to deem me and make me feel unworthy or make me feel unimportant. Like, I don't view myself like that when it comes to people. That's not who I am. I'm not in comparison with anybody but myself. When I say that I am always in competition with Sharon, because Sharon always want to be better than she was today, better today than she was tomorrow, and so on and so forth. I want to be better. I want to be a better me. That ain't got nothing to do with anybody. That's not a competition with anybody but me. To be a better Sharon every single day of my life, and to push myself beyond my limits, to push myself beyond what I think or feel that I can do at certain times, to push myself to pursue the purpose that God has in store for me. That's what I'm here for. That's who I'm in competition with. That's what I'm always constantly trying to do. Be a better me. Be better than I was today, better tomorrow, better the following day. That's what it's all about for me. So I definitely just wanted to talk about just being confident in who you are. Like, there's so many things that I want to say, and I think I'm kind of tiptoeing around without saying everything, because if I say too much, then you guys aren't going to want to get my next book. That is my news. So I am currently in the process of working on book number 2, and book number 2 is entitled Knowing Who You Are. And in this book, I am going to just express a lot of things. And so doing my live, I have to give you enough to make you want to buy it, but I can't give you too much to where you feel like you don't need to go and buy it. You definitely got to buy the book. You've got to buy the book. But I'm so excited to already be in the process of working on my book number 2. I'm so excited to drop that book. It's funny because I was telling my publisher or my publicist, I was telling her, I was like, you know what's funny? Like, when I was in the process of doing book number 1, I can remember God was giving me things for book number 2. And I was like, wait a minute, Jesus, like, I'm just trying to get through one book. Like, you can't give me 2 books before I can get through one book. Like, help me get through this first book first. But I can remember her saying to me, like, Sharon, this is how you know that you're within where God wants you to be, because he already feels like he can trust you with things. And I remember her saying, every time he gives you something, write it down. And so I got this app on my phone. Every time God would give me something, I would either jot it there in that word, I would say it out loud in the word, or whatever the case may be, but I would definitely put it down. And so now God has put me in the position to where I am able to go ahead and pursue that. So I am excited about that. That was my good news. So I know It's out there now. But that was my news. I am excited to be definitely in that process of working on book number 2. I'm so excited that God has just been able to entrust me with such a purpose. And every single day of my life, I remember just having a conversation, and I was talking to this lady. I'm always having conversations with people. Like, people are always wanting to talk to me, and because I love to talk, it just comes so natural. But I can remember having a conversation, and one of the things that she said, she was like, Sharon, I know that there is something great within you. What would you say to the 16-year-old you? You know, like, what would you change in your life? You know, like, if you had to go back and you had to do it all over again, what are the things that you would change? And I can remember I pondered that question a little bit, because I was like, you know what? Like, I think we all have lived that life where we'd be like, oh, if I would have done this, then I would have done this. And if I would have done this, then this would be different. And, you know, honestly, I was like, you know what? I can't even say that there is anything that I would have changed. You know, don't get me wrong. I didn't have the greatest life growing up and things like that. But I believe that everything that God allowed me to go through was in pursuit of where I was going, was in pursuit of my purpose. And I am here to say that I am grateful of the purpose that God has chosen for me. I am grateful of the person that I have become because of the things that I've gone through. And, you know, I know that God gives us, he takes us through things, and he gives us through things in order for us to be a help to someone else, in order for us to be a blessing unto someone else. And I know that all of this knowledge, all of this it wasn't just for me. Like, all of this was for all of the people that God has assigned that's going to listen to me, that's going to follow me, for all of the people who I am going to impact in knowing who they are. All of this was for that. And I understand that we go through not just for ourselves, but we go through to be a blessing unto other people. And I can honestly say that a lot of the things that I've gone through in my life, God has already brought back around, where I've been able to help people to get through and to minister to other people. And don't take it too deep, because when you say minister, people be like, oh, she done accepted it. No. My only call is what God has purposed me to do. Advocate knowing who you are. I just want to make that very, very clear, because I know how people like to take stuff and run with it. Don't run with that. Run with the other stuff that I said. Don't run with that. But he'll put you in the position where you're there to encourage someone else. And for the people that God has put me in the position to encourage, I have been able to go through and help them with things that I've gone through in my own life, in my own marriage, or whatever the case may be. I've been able to go through, and I've been able to help them get to that healed place, to help them to get to that healed them. And I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful. Like, I am so grateful, and I am so grateful that God chose me. Like, out of all the people in the world, there are so many people that could have been chosen for this particular purpose, but God chose me for the purpose, and I am grateful. I'm very grateful, and I'm very thankful. And I just want to give it all I got. I want to continue to just pursue and push and to persevere. And I want to definitely make sure that I am fulfilling my purpose to the best of my ability, according to what God has in store for me. Not at my own strength, not at my own ability, but this is all God. So I'm gonna get off of here, because I feel like I've been on here already too long. I was trying to time myself, but that didn't work out either. But little technical difficulties today with technology, but that's okay. When I get back on here again, I am going to have it together. I promise. You can definitely expect more videos from me. Like the video that I done today, I got a ton of those. Like, I've been doing them for some time. And it was something that I know that I've supposed to started doing a while ago, and I just never got in the place to do it. I never got to the place of posting them and things, but I am definitely going to get on the grind, and I'm going to make sure that you guys are getting a small nugget every single week, whether it be one or two. in the form of a video. Of course, I'll keep my postings going. Guys, like and subscribe to my YouTube page and to Instagram and to Facebook. Go like my pages, God, all my social media platforms. Definitely go and like them. Share this video so that it can be a help to someone else. If you got anything out of the video, or if you feel like it can be impactful for anybody else, please go and share the video. Go and share it, like it, and allow someone else to be encouraged. But I gave you guys my Knowing Who You Are since tonight. Expect my book out. I don't have a release date for my book yet because we got a lot of stuff going. My husband has an amazing CD that's getting ready to drop. I dare not drop this book before that CD hits. That CD is going to be fire. Let me just say that. And I'm not saying that because like he's my husband and it's expected for me to say it like I am his #1 fan. Absolutely. But I'm not just saying that because he's my husband. I am saying that because I know personally from the work that he's put in. Listen, he got some amazing people on this CD. I be like, babe, are they really on there? Like, I mean, it is going to be so good. So you guys got to look out for that. So that CD is definitely going to drop before my book comes out. So be on the lookout for that. I don't have a release date for the book yet, but I can tell you guys that you can expect book #2, Knowing Who You Are, coming really soon from me. So definitely go like and subscribe to my pages. Like, share this video, guys. Do me a favor and just hit the share button. Just hit the share button. Just hit the share button, okay? I am Sharon Tillman. Talk to you soon.